Hi, I'm Jo. I'm the Head of Community Involvement at Croydon Voluntary Action. We are an infrastructure body, an umbrella group for voluntary community groups and individual activists in Croydon. We run the Volunteer Centre. We host the Local Involvement Network. We work with a really broad spectrum of individuals and groups.
My name is Folake Shedman and I'm the coordinator for Croydon Health Watch Pathfinder, which is a project that is based here in Croydon. It's part of Croydon, it is Croydon's local involvement network, and it's based at Croydon Voluntary Action. As a project, we work with a range of communities. In fact, our remit is to work with all communities in Croydon. But we've taken a particular stance this year to work with a few of the seldom heard groups, particularly those that are homeless and those that are refugees or from migrant communities. That work has been ongoing for the last 2 years.
My name is Richard Pasitti and I'm the Chief Executive of Mind in Croydon. So primarily we're an organisation that works with people with mental health problems, but actually more and more we work with anyone who wants to think about promoting good mental health. And I have overall responsibility for everything that goes on within this organisation.
Hi, I'm Jane Carey. I work for an organisation called Jubilee Parenting, and we work with a range of parents and families, mainly families with special needs or families with young children or families with teenagers. They seem to be the times that people want lots of help. I'm the parenting worker and family coordinator, and I've got a team of people work with me.
My name is Jessica Morales and I'm a housing support worker for Oasis for Croydon. I work for a charity that is called Oasis Trust, and I also work as an all-female project in Peckham. That's just females, homeless young girls that are 16 to 21, and my role is to support them, to engage them to get back into education or to continue in education and to gain the necessary independent living skills so that they can move on from here and get back into the community.
Hello, good evening. My name's Tony Sewell. I'm from Night Watch. We're a homeless charity in Croydon. We've been running for about 35 years and we serve Croydon Street homeless every night of the week, 365 nights a year on most years, or 366 nights on the leap year.
My name's Talika. I'm a Croydon resident and I'm a mother of one.
We are residents of Oasis Foyer Croydon, and this message is to you.
What are the barriers you face when engaging seldom heard groups, and how do you overcome them?
I'm not sure that I would say there are huge barriers. For me, it's about connecting with the right individuals, organisations, being on the ground, being open to working with anybody. There are some institutional barriers that could be lifted, but the work that we do is about trying to lift those barriers.
Time is probably our biggest barrier because it takes time. It's about relationship building. That's probably one of the first things. I'd say that the second barrier that we face sometimes is the scope of engagement. It's about actually making sure that the questions that we're asking them are the things that are really important to them. Because it's one thing sometimes to ask what we think they need, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and some really, really detailed work to actually get a sound understanding of what their actually needs are and how we can actually help them articulate those needs to providers. I think those are for us some of the two big things. It's obviously a capacity issue, we're a small team, and I think sometimes it's also about teams not actually joining up together. So I think that's also probably one of the barriers.
Some of the barriers that we face when working with seldom heard groups include the fact that those people may have had negative experiences in the past with services, or they may have found services that haven't really listened to them and what their issues are, or just that they haven't had the information to know what the range of services are that are available to people.
Some of the barriers, I suppose, could be prejudices either the prejudices that the young people have themselves or the prejudices that other people have about young people and how they come across. A lot of the young people come from broken homes and they're carrying lots of issues. It could be emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse or neglect, and it's just how sometimes they don't trust adults or authorities, and how we can get them to engage with us and to trust us so that we can support them in the best way possible.
But difficulties, really, they're hard to reach. They are hard to reach. So a lot of times we have people from troubled backgrounds. They've got, there's associated maybe mental health problems. I said very drug addiction and all different things coming on. With regards to sort of engaging with services, that doesn't usually happen. So what happens is that they're kind of out in the cold, excuse the pun, they're in the shadows of society.
How should public bodies listen to them and take their views and situations into account?
I think it's very important that public bodies are open to the views of people who they perhaps find it difficult to come into to provide services to. I think sometimes people are described as being hard to reach, when in fact the reason why they don't engage with services is that they don't find those services to be very helpful, and to some extent then people feel that they've been blamed, so that it's their fault, rather than perhaps the people that design and deliver services thinking about their services and whether they are actually the sorts of services that people find helpful.
I think first they have to go and talk to them. I think there tends to be, in my opinion obviously, a feeling that we can do it from a paternal point of view. We can do it from the top down. And what we certainly know is that you need to have a grassroots approach. So you need to talk to the users themselves, you need to talk to members of that community, you need to find the leaders in that community, you need to find the organizations like ours who are already working in that community, and that's really the best way to engage.
I think that what you're doing right now is great, to actually meet the young people, listen to their views and to how they feel, and just questioners, getting out there to have interviews on a one-to-one or group discussions. It just creates more opportunities for young people to come and share their views.
I think if public bodies really want to listen to parents, then they need to be really creative in the way they address them. So relaxed atmosphere, not putting them under pressure, not prejudging them, just accepting them as people who are trying their best in very difficult situations. And I think always treat people with respect and value their story is really key.
Listen to the voices of concern. If it is meeting up with the people directly, listening not just to their views, but putting something in place to action it. There needs to be kind of an idea where, when people are coming together, they include the people that are affected. Listen to them and give them some value. That's still not happening much. We do have some things, but it's not happening as much as it ought to. So I think they need to have some type of meeting together where the street homeless are included and they are having their own representation with their own voice.
I don't think local authorities take into account my views and my situations. Because, for example, about 2-3 weeks ago, I got a phone call from the council, and I think it was someone from housing. She asked me a bunch of questions, and she said she wanted to kind of put together like a focus group of people and ask us our opinions and things like that about housing and the local area. She asked me all these questions about whether do I feel if I can afford where I'm living and if I can afford to decorate my house and things like that. And then I didn't get anything. I didn't get a phone call back. She said she was going to call me, and then that was it. So obviously now I started to wonder, what was those questions for? Did you just want to tick a couple of boxes and give it to your manager to say, oh yeah, I've spoken to these people, or was it meaningless? What was it about? I don't know.
What sort of things do you think they would like to be involved in and have their say in?
Yeah, I do have certain issues that I would like to be voiced. Those mainly are like about youth and the local crime and things like that.
The parents we work with often want to have their say to people that are decision makers. They want people to listen to their stories, they want people to hear what day-to-day life is like for them and their children. And I think that many parents would be prepared to be on statutory body review boards and things to help get their views across and to help the service be more user-friendly to their families.
I know from the work here with the young people that they would like to have their say on how the council spends money on. I know they would like to have a big say about Move On and the lack of social housing and the cuts and the support they get.
The main thing they're saying is how they're coming off the street, really. They want to say in their life. They want to say that to improve their quality of life. They want people to listen to them and meet the needs that they have. So the primary concern is having a roof over your head. That's the primary concern. And whatever's those barriers stopping them from getting a roof over their head, they want people to listen.
Yeah, they don't accommodate our needs and they don't understand us as individuals.
I've lived in Croydon all my life. I've been to school in Croydon. I basically know the ins and outs, like every nook and cranny. So hence why I said I want to stay here, because I know people, I'm comfortable, I feel safe, and basically they just pushed me off into the wilderness.
So they didn't listen to
No man's land, no, they didn't listen to me one bit.
Yeah, the system is quite hard because it takes a long time to sort of get things done. I've got a letter from Housing Benefit, I think yesterday, saying that because I'm not on any benefits, they're going to cut my housing benefit, all whilst I'm actually at college. So it's a lot to deal with at a young time.
So they don't listen to you?
No.
It's a lack of communication.
Yeah, there is a big lack of communication problem.
Cut your finances and
completely,
and it affects your housing situation at the same time.
So it can make him homeless.
And broke.
I know it's not just me, other residents go through a lot of trouble with income support. Like, the only work I can get is part-time work, and the limits that we've been given is that we can't work for more than 16 hours or earn more than £50, and employers aren't really looking for workers that are going to be working those types of shifts. Like,
sorry, who gave you those limits?
Income support. Yeah, employers are looking for full-time people who are flexible. And going through this at such a young age can ruin your childhood, and then a bad childhood could turn you into a bad person when you get older. And if they want to minimise your gang violence and that kind of stuff, yeah, try and make our lives a bit easier so we have a better childhood, so we possibly grow up to be a better person. I mean,
yeah, happiness counts.
My message would be, make sure that the services that you're providing are ones that people really want and find helpful, and also make sure that you work with those smaller community-based organisations and voluntary groups that have already got good contact with those groups of people.
In order to really reach into communities, I think statutory sector services need to take some risks by commissioning voluntary community groups who are confident and comfortable in taking and managing risk in engagement, and have the on the ground grassroots knowledge already, and to allow the communities to take some power themselves. Really, it's just about helping people play a part in their own future. And that would be my key messages about stepping back and taking risk.
My top tip for leaders, commissioners and senior managers is that they involve members of these communities right from the start, and they keep them involved all throughout the process of developing a project or a service, and then remember to feed back to them.
Thank you. The advice that I would give to anyone wishing to engage with this group is to treat these people as fellow human beings, value them as yourself. You know, just because they're homeless, it doesn't mean to say that they're any less of a person than anyone else. It's just what life has dealt with them. Take off the tinted glasses of prejudice and put on that helping hand to help them, you know, lift them up out of the situation.